Hello and welcome to another episode of the Get At It Gaming Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ben,
I'm Alex.
and we are the bi-weekly nerdy podcast that basically talks about what we want to talk about, whether it's video games, anime, movies, you name it, we talk about it. Uh, you can get the audio version of this podcast on wherever you get it from, whether it's Spotify, Amazon, Pandora, you name it. And then we do a video version of it on YouTube as well, which you should go to YouTube for our YouTube only content we've been doing. We just did the Sonic OEM movie. Did I say that right? OEM? I think I'm right,
OVA.
right? OVA, excuse me. OVA. We just did that. And by the time this goes, we should do a kind of like a playthrough of us playing the new Angry Video Game Nerd 8-bit game, which is pretty cool. But check there, subscribe wherever you get your audio podcasts. But today we're going to do something we haven't done in a while. Um, we used to do them pretty regularly, but it's just been, we've had really great topics we wanted to hit. But today we're going to talk about some of our pickups. Now, this could be anywhere between November through now. Um, just some of like, we each got like 5 things that we think are like super cool, unique things that we've picked up. Uh, whether it's games, whether it's movies, there. Yeah. When was the last one we did one like this, Alex? Do you remember?
I was
It's
thinking
been a
about
bit.
it. It Last year we were trying to do something a little bit different where we were trying to change and like think of different videos and things to do. And one of them I thought of was, hey, let's take our segment of hidden trophies and make it its own separate video and put a little more production on it. And so we recorded that. That never saw the light of day. Um and like I think that was like last year, like around January.
Yeah.
So I I think it's been over a year since we've
Yeah.
last done something like this. Maybe occasionally I'd be like, hey, I got something, but like a hidden trophies proper, like we haven't done this in quite a while.
Yeah. And I think it's still kind of early for us. We've got some big things happening in the next couple of months. We probably will have more developers on this year. Uh, definitely talking about some more cool games. We actually are waiting, but we just talked to someone specifically about a game we just think is fantastic
Mm-hmm.
um, there. But we got some things there. Still would love if you stream, if you do a podcast, reach out to us either on Blue Sky, reach out to us on Facebook, and let's collab. Let's talk. We're always looking for people to collab with,
Yeah.
whether you're a streamer. Uh, now, if you are Mort from Mort's Garage, yes, we want you on the show. We would love that. Um, anyway, before at least this time I didn't ask for somebody that's like super famous, like I don't know, like Greg Miller or
See,
something,
see
right?
now Mort doesn't want to show up because you said he's not super famous.
Well, he's okay. So in my mind, I think it'd be great to have him on. But I mean, last year we did have Jay and Rob on, which for me was like, oh man, moment,
Yeah.
And so from there, now we're all like, we're all got this like, man, we can have anybody on. So let's get Mort on. Let's get
Yeah.
Greg Miller on. Let's just go for the moon, right?
Yeah, there's some people I think that I could probably get on. Don't you worry. Like honestly.
I
Um
I I would love to get some people on. Like, who was I thinking about the other? I was even thinking like John Riggs the other day. You know,
mhm.
I think it'd be fun. But we're also looking to collab. I just want to throw that out there. Check us out on Blue Sky. We're on Blue Sky. We're really trying to build that up. Uh, yeah. So, Alex, I want to ask you for what is the first item that you've brought to the table today?
Well, that's a good question. Feel like Brendan Small being like I didn't bring anything for show and tell or whatever. Brendan Small, wow, that's a poll. Home movies. Um but
That is like you. Yeah.
that's a show we were talking about before. Um before when we started this recording, like, man, we should buy more of these types of shows. I need to buy Home Movies. I love that show. Some of it's kind of cringe, but like a lot of it's like pretty good. Because H.
I
John Benjamin plays
Coach
uh
McGurk.
well, he plays Coach McGurk, but then he plays the kid. What's his name? Not Brendan, the other one. Like
Oh yeah, his
the
friend.
guy who sounds like this. Hey Brendan. Like that guy, you know.
Oh yeah,
I forget his name, but like yeah, he plays that kid too. I didn't realize that until like much later. Melissa is the girl. I don't remember his
yes.
name. What's his name?
I don't remember. I know he's like every episode.
Pugsley. I'm not. That's not his name, but he looks like Pugsley.
It's like Adam's Family.
Yeah, you know it. That's where you. That's why you come here. You come for topical references. You know, we're talking about Pugsley. We're talking about home movies. I don't know. You want me to talk about like Monk next? You know, we can talk about Adrian Monk.
I think you like lost like a huge percentage of who listens to us. I the only reason I even know of Monk is because my dad like loves that show.
I love that show. That show's really good. Anyway, the first thing I got, a shout out to what's their names? I need to look up their names. Shout out to this place that I went to not too long ago. I'm gonna Google Maps you. Is it called the Vault? No. There's a place in Indiana, right? There's a place in Indiana. That's a game store. I'm stalling, by the way, because I'm just typing away. There's a place in Indiana that's a game store. I saw it on a YouTube channel. I don't remember the YouTube channel. Like I don't remember who it was, but it was someone bigger than us. But he was like, "Hey, I don't normally live in Indiana, but here are some good places to go." It was Paul someone, I forget. But I don't normally live in Indiana. Here are some cool places you should go to. And us living in Indiana, I think I shared that video with you maybe, or I told you about it at least. And
Oh yeah,
the first place was somewhere I never been to before. The other places were just like places like, oh, of course, I go there once a month. But this place is in Fortville, Indiana. It's called the Retro Sync. I got a couple of my things here that I have here today from there. Very good service. Really cool little store on Main Street over there. And it's like a downtown video game store. You can't miss it. There's a Mario in front, like a Mario statue. And it's pretty cool. They have a bunch of games in like a case. They had The Wizard playing on a small CRT on VHS.
Oh, wow.
And then on the wall there are like collectibles, and like in the center there are like some old like toys and stuff. So like Spider-Man toys and stuff like that, like 90s. But then there was a wall of some stuff. I think there might have been NES there. But there's also like a Super Nintendo, I believe, like plugged in, and like a place where you could kind of just like play and sit. So I think that's pretty cool. And so one of the things I got here, it was one of the last things I actually got, just because I didn't realize that this would be on the regular like wall. You know, I thought that this would be in a case because I always assumed that this game would be more expensive than it was. So the first game that I got is the original Ryuga Gotoku. I got the first Yakuza for PS2. This is complete in box. It has the manual, the game, everything here. Now this game's interesting because it's dubbed.
Oh,
And it's the first game that was ever dubbed for Yakuza, because the first Yakuza game. They People like to forget about this and say that Like a Dragon, the 7th one, was the first dubbed game. Like I remember um watching certain things like GameStop TV or something like that, like looking at um like walking into a store or whatever, and then being like, hey, the first Yakuza game ever dubbed is this and that, and it's like, no, it's not. It's this one. And so I have never played this before. I have only played Kiwami, which is a remake of this, and it does a lot of quality of life things that people enjoy because it's more based upon like Zero and stuff like that. And so um yeah, I look forward to playing this eventually, hopefully. And because it's dubbed, I think it'd be really interesting to play because
Yeah,
Yakuza game, and it's like weirdly like localized I think as well. So like it's early 2000s localization, so like there's just going to be some weird things in there to where that they don't sound right. There's probably some American names in here, you know. Mark Hamill is Majima, Goro Majima.
really.
Yeah, so like you're gonna get a weird take on the crazy man Majima. So I'm excited to see how this goes. But yeah, it's a cool story. Yeah, the retro sync. And I'll show another thing I got from them here in a second. But
That's crazy. Like I have been buying some PS2 here and there. Most of I'm buying is stuff that either A I played or I wanted to play, and it's usually just like really bad stuff. Um, like before we were talking about, I ordered like The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe for PS2. Not sure why, um, but I did, and you'll be here this week. But so my first game is one I've talked about for a while. I really wanted to wait until the disc format came out, just because in my house there's two PS2s under the same account. My oldest son uses my account, and it's difficult to get that verification to play, you know, downloaded games. So I have Black Myth Wukong,
mm,
and I've played about an hour of this game. So far, what I played was really great. Um, you know, very it's very Dark Souls-ish, I will say that. I know that it like a standard with these. But it's really cool because you can either you can either play it dubbed or an original Japanese. Um, so I'm playing and you can switch back and forth. Some of the voices in the dub version are a little weird. Um, so I've been playing it
wait,
Japanese with
you mean
subtitles.
Chinese, right?
Sorry, Chinese.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
I was about to say, I was
Um,
like, wait, I thought that was a China made game.
it is.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but I've been playing it. I've been playing it with um, the subtitles.
Okay.
Um, Personally, I think the game's great. It's definitely harder. Like I've jumped into things where I'm like, oh, I got this fight, right? And then you walk into something you're like, yeah, I don't have the fight. So it's been pretty fun. I don't have much into it. I really want to use more time into it later on. But so far so good. Um, Beautiful game. I've been playing this in performance mode.
Okay.
Um, and you can pick whether you want, you know, performance mode or you want to look better. I personally play with a higher frame rate and it looks great. It's hard to believe this was made by a small team. Um, Even after they didn't win the game awards and they were upset. But that's another story for, for another day. What is your next item, Alex?
Let me pull something over here. What do I want to go for? That's the thing. I guess. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I've got some ones that you would be surprised at, just so you know.
Okay. All right. So I guess we're doing this one. So the found this at another store. Um got a good deal. I think I've already told you this story already, but I found Captain
I'm quite
N.
jealous.
Captain
Quite
N,
jealous.
the game master. It's in kind of rough shape, you know, like the box and everything. But like the only thing that matters are the discs in here. And so it is a 4-disc set. It is the release from Shout Factory instead of like End Circle. And so because of that, it's more discs, and so it shouldn't be as pixelated and compressed, because like the newer releases, like there's a new Sonic release I always bring up of Sat AM, like the one with Sally Acorn and stuff like that. And they, I think, put everything on either 1 or 2 discs, and that's like 20 some odd episodes for an older show. And so if you're
Yeah.
putting like 12 episodes on each disc, like that's crazy. Like those are going to look awful. And so yeah, I got Captain N. Got a pretty good price for it. 26 episodes, 9.5 hours. Can normally be kind of expensive, this version at least, but got like $20 off for like what it normally is. So I'm pretty happy about that. Now while I
Have you
watch
start
it, I don't know.
I was just gonna ask that. Like, I still remember watching it and not realizing it's basically a giant commercial for Nintendo.
It
I
is and it
mean,
isn't at the same time though, because like if it's a commercial for Nintendo, it's a horrible commercial for Nintendo.
yeah,
Because like, uh, because that's Simon Belmont, right? Yeah, like Simon Belmont is like not Simon Belmont, that tiny Mega Man. Uh, let's see, Kid Icarus, like Pit's in it. Like they don't
yeah,
act like they're counterparts from the games at all. Granted, they didn't really have much to work with, but
no,
yeah,
but they even had like characters from other companies. So like, if I remember correctly, there's an episode with Bayou Billy,
yeah.
which is a Konami game. Um,
I mean, kind of same
or-
thing though with Simon Belmont though. That's Castlevania. That's
yeah,
Konami. So
yeah. So it's kind of, yeah. That's the crazy part is like Pit and Mega Man. Do you know who I really liked? The two people I liked the most are King Hippo and Eggplant Wizard. Um, every now and then Dr. Wily would show up, but
yeah,
those two are hilarious.
yeah.
Like, definitely watching it a couple of years ago, I'm like, God, some of this is not PC at all.
No, especially Simon Belmont.
Yes, yes. Simon Belmont needs to understand the cues from women and not be pushy. But um God, I remember the show here, and it's so funny when he got it. It's like I have been looking for that, and I was like, I'll just get it on eBay, right? And then I was looking at the prices, and I was like, wow, that's a lot. Um, but you got to get it for a good price, so you have to watch it, so you know, so you can see the greatness of what it was in like Nintendo's prime.
Maybe someday, you know. Maybe I'll put that on tonight after we're done recording. Fall asleep to some Captain N.
Well, you know what I'm gonna do when we're done with this is play this awesome new game I just got. I got the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection. I've not played very much of it. I just started playing the Game Boy. Still cards, still sealed. Um, I tell you what, this is probably the best value in these.
14 games,
Um,
right?
there's 14 games, including ones that were never released here. Um, I'm playing one of the Game Boy ones now. So good. Um, this this is I've only played for about 20-30 minutes, but it looks good on my Switch. And I usually play in handheld mode.
I think it's a Switch only game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'll probably get it eventually. One that I'm really interested in, um, besides Sacred Cards, I guess, because I bought that one recently. And so I played it like with my analog pocket, and it felt really cool playing it with an actual Game Boy Advance cartridge. Um, But one of the few I actually want to try is the Dungeon Dice Monsters, because like I never got to play that before, and I never understood how it worked in the show. And so I think it'd be really cool to just kind of see how that would actually unfold as a game. So
Yeah. I bought the one for PC that went through the different Yu-Gi-Oh things.
yeah, I have that one for
Um,
Switch.
it's okay. Um, but this is what I remember playing, and I'm gonna say a naughty word here, but I was emulating most of this um, a long time ago. Um, but I really wanted to play him, and that was the best way to play him. This, um, this, believe it or not, adding this with a couple other games I've got, this is my 71. I think I'm at 71 for Switch games now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I think I'm more than
I
that now.
never saw myself as being a collector, but I now want to collect it. Uh, and I've got some, I don't have anything like super rare. Um, but yeah, so far this is really, really great. I feel like this is one that if you were a Yu-Gi-Oh person, this is a pickup with 14 games on there, and it's only 49.99. Um, I also feel this is going to be one that after a year or so, you're not going to be able to find. And I could be wrong. I could be
Mhm.
wrong, but I just feel like this one's gonna be a hard one to find. So, my
Yeah.
wife actually, I have said it before, marry somebody that understands what you like. She just bought this for me. It's out of the blue. Quick story. I was at a Target and they had it sitting on the shelf,
Hmm.
no case or anything. And I put it down and then I was telling my wife about it. She goes, "Oh, I'll get it for you if you want." I was like, "Are you for real?" She goes, "Yeah, go get it." I go back to get it and another couple had it. I've always felt it's pretty rude to steal stuff from other couples. So I didn't. So I had to wait until I got here. Just got here last week.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I'm looking through my Legacy of the Duelist is what that game was called that you were thinking of earlier.
Okay.
Um, man, I'm gonna have to go through my games because some of these don't make sense. Like I'm looking at my Game Eye app as I do, um, but I don't have Tears of the Kingdom on here for some reason. So and that doesn't make any sense because I own
wasn't
that game.
like wasn't there a PS2 game of Yu-Gi-Oh? Or am I wrong? No, was it PlayStation?
There's multiple.
Okay. I
Yeah.
just remember one on PlayStation.
Uh Pharaoh something maybe. I don't know. People can comment if they want. But Legacy, well no. Duelist of the Roses was the one
Yes.
for PS2 and it was weird, right? Cuz it played more like a strategy game, like like Stratego or something like that. Like you moved your pieces up.
That's the one I remember that I couldn't get into. Um, which it's not a cheap game right now.
Hmm.
I looked it up. That was the clicking. But I feel like if you're wanting to play Yu-Gi-Oh, this is a good way to do it and to play some of the old ones. Unless you're like me and you want to, or like if you're collecting for Game Boy Advance. Sure, I played a lot of the Game Boy Advance ones. I emulated them, but I did play a lot of the Game Boy Advance ones. So,
Mhm.
and I have not touched the Japanese ones. So,
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I don't blame you for not touching the Japanese ones because it's just the same games in Japanese. So
yeah, I mean, it looks like it's the same game,
yeah,
but a couple of them weren't released here. Two of them, I think, were not released here.
yeah, I believe so. So they like made new translations for them. So
Yeah.
so yeah, everything that you play in English is there is an equivalent in Japanese. I know like I want to say like all except one. Um, they have like a flip flop so you can change the versions, but then one of them there's just separate games for them for some reason. That might be Sacred Cards. But I'm not sure which one it is. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
when they get the game loaded, it's like a little circle and you push, right or left, and it kinda goes in a circle,
Hmm.
and it shows you Japanese and it has a Japanese flag there, or United States as the United States. So, but it is really cool, and there are other features on here. Like I think there's like art and stuff like that on there. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. Like I said, I'll probably get it eventually. Just don't know when, but I will. What do I want to talk about next? How many things are we doing? 4, 5,
5
5? Okay. Um, or I can just do the other one.
as
This
I'm
is the
moving
other
things
thing.
around.
Huh?
Said as I'm moving things around.
It's the other thing about the Retro Sync, the cool place in Fortville, Indiana. I bought expensive game. Bought Thousand Arms. This is an
That
Atlas
thing looks
game.
good.
This is an Atlas RPG, and it has. So when I opened it, I kind of felt like, oh, I should buy this. The little like hub thing, see how it's missing one right there on the top.
Hmm.
It fell off when I took out the disc to check the conditions.
Oh,
Yeah. Which like it happens, a lot of these things are so fragile. But I took it off to check the condition, and then the case wouldn't close. I'm like, why isn't it closing? And then I was like, oh, because that little piece of plastic is keeping the game open. So it's 2 discs. It came with a manual. The manual's a little beat up, but it came with a manual nonetheless. Also has a tail concerto. This art style looks like it's CC Corp. Huh, I don't even look at that. But yeah, it came with a manual, and then it has like a thing for another game. But I've always wanted this. I've never played it. I don't really know much about it. I just remember hearing people talk about it, and so
mhm.
I was like, yeah, I'll try to pick it up. I'll try to find it, and I found it a couple times back in December, but they're always too expensive, or they didn't have the manual. Um, that one was below price charting. The game's normally 160 minimum, I would say. And so I think I spent like 130, maybe a little less, because it was my first time buying from that store too. And so when I made an account with the guy for free, he's like, "Oh, I'll also just give you 10% off since it's your first time buying." It's like, okay, thanks.
All right.
Yeah, so I took that. But so yeah, I paid roughly like 130 or so for that game. I'm excited to play it. I'll play it eventually. Um, but yeah, it's just one of those games I always heard of for PS1 that I just never could either find or have the money for. But I guess now
It's
I do.
always so crazy games like that because when PlayStation was at its peak, you probably could have gone into a Toys R Us. You probably could have gone into a game store. And it probably just was sitting right there, right? And now, since it's been so many years, finding some of these in the wild is like, a, you know, a diamond in the rough. I know I told this story before. I remember the first time I went to a flea market with Alex, and it was the craziest experience because we found a box full of NES with a cart with the console and a lot in box, and I think I paid $50 for the whole box. Uh, that will never happen again. It will to this day. We've been going for gosh, how many years now? Is this our gonna be our 3rd year? Right?
I think so.
It's never happened. Never. I have found seal games out, but I think as we move forward with a lot of these, games like that are just gonna get more and more scarce,
Mm-hmm.
Especially because those jewel cases were stupid fragile, you know?
Yeah,
I feel like I broke them all the time.
same.
So, all right. So this one here, I wanted this one for a while, and it is a limited run. And I remember when it came out, because Alex and I had the conversation. He goes, you're not really going to buy that, are you? And then I found out that other retailers were going to sell it as well. It's not something for me that I had to have the limited run huge thing for, but it is Rugrats in Adventure in Gameland. So this is really cool. So there's two versions really. There's the HD version, or with a click of a button, you can go to 8-bit, which is super cool. It's plays really, really like a good platformer. Anyone that watched Rugrats knows. I guess there's like new Rugrats now.
I
I
think
don't
it
know.
got
I heard
canceled.
there was. Oh, it did. I know they had them like as like almost as teens, and then they suppose. For last time I heard, they were doing a Rugrat show again. But anyway,
Yeah.
this game is great. I got this at GameStop, believe it or not. Kind of shocked. I walked in, they had it. Um, but this game's really, really fun. Um, and you can play as all the babies. And everyone's kind of different in little ways. Kind of reminds me of like Super Mario Brothers 2, where like, Peach floats. They all have like their different things there. Um,
Are the twins the same though?
yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
So yeah, as I was wondering, because I'm like, let's see, because there's Tommy, there's Chucky, there's Phil and
Hmm.
Lil,
Yep.
or is
It's
his sister there too?
no,
Chucky's adopted sister, is she in this? I forget her name.
no.
Kimmy.
Angelica is in it though,
Okay, so
but
it's
of course she's
before the Rugrats
yeah.
movie, Rugrats in Paris, because that's my Rugrats lore, where Chaz gets married to some lady in Paris and then adopts that kid.
This is like definitely really fun. I think you would like it. It's just a straight platformer. You pick a level.
Yeah, I
Um,
used to have a Rugrats game for Game Boy Color, or I had the Game Boy version of it, but apparently there's a Game Boy Color specific version. It was a platformer, um, because you know how like there are Game Boy Color games where it's like it's a black cartridge, but it could play on both. I had that
yep.
one, but then there was also another one where it was a clear Game Boy Color cartridge. I didn't have that one, but
It is pretty cool
yeah.
going back and forth. It's like literally like a hitting the button and you go
Hmm.
back and forth.
That sounds cool. It
Um,
sounds like what was it like Wonder Boy or something like that? Like one of those
oh
when they
yeah,
first came out, they were doing something like that. I remember. So,
yeah. It's just like that. You just hit a button and you move over. I have been playing it in HD.
hmm.
Um, but there's like levels and there's bosses. I mean, it's your stereotypical, you know, platformer. Um, the HD version looks really good on my OLED.
Hmm.
And I've played in handheld mode and on screen. It looks great.
Nice,
So
nice, cool. How much was it?
39.99.
That's not horrible. So I bet it's like
No.
normally with limited run games, I feel like it's $10 cheaper if you get it digitally. So
Yeah, and like and again, like they had this big package that came in a VHS box. Gave I don't really want all that. Um for me anymore with limited run, unless it's a big clearance sale. I just there's not been anything out there. There is a Yakuza one that's coming out. I thought about sending it to you.
hmm.
Um they have like a
Oh
big
yeah, yeah,
Yakuza
yeah. They've been releasing every single one, and they have
yeah,
them like as like volumes, but like I don't need a re. That's only if I never bought the games before.
yeah,
Um, I don't need to rebuy these, in my opinion. So
yeah, and I feel like I almost want to do like an updated limited run thing because I feel like they're just not, limited run used to be it, right? But I just don't see it anymore. Looking at what they have coming out, because I think the other one we really wanted was Sea of Stars. Remember, we
yeah,
wanted to
and
get
you
a
can
copy
find
of
that
Sea of Stars.
everywhere.
Yeah, and then I almost bought it, and then me and you found out, hey, it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah,
I think the only difference is if you bought their regular version, it came with like a different cover.
yeah,
Uh, I didn't really care. I just wanted to own Sea of Stars.
yeah, yeah. Um, okay. Let me. I don't know if I've shown this. Let me scoot down over here and try to look. Um,
But you can't if you are not watching the video version. It's like he's searching through the mass of treasures in his room there.
more like a pile of things I didn't clean up. So I don't know if I showed this. I talked to you. I got this, but I don't know if I've ever shown this. So I'm gonna show it now. And if I have audience, I'm sorry. You get to see it again. Um. So I bought something a while back from Buena Vista Home Entertainment. Actually, yeah, I might have shown this, but I don't care. I got Spider-Man, the 60s collection, 67s collection. I don't know if I showed this or not. I might have. But this is the original Spider-Man cartoon, the very, very first one. This is where the Spider-Man theme song comes from, like the original. This has every episode, so 52 episodes in here. It has all the discs on DVD. It has like a little thing in here that describes each episode and has it's like a guide, you know. He even has the thing in here that like anti-theft or whatever. You know, I'm talking about like the piece of paper
Oh
that has
yeah.
like the thing in it. Yeah, apparently that's still in here. Um but yeah, it's I want to say it's 5 discs. It's 6 discs. But it has all 52 episodes on here. They look really good, especially for being a 67 show. Um the the previews and the menus look so awful because the previews, like I think they're using VHS like rips of this. Like I think they
Gotcha.
just the coming soon to video or whatever, like the Disney stuff, because it's that since Buena Vista. And this is before Disney owned Marvel at all. They just did the release of this. Um but this release came out in 2004, I believe. Yeah. So pretty not early DVD, but like, you know, it's early enough, I would say. And so I'm just shocked how well like the show actually looks. Like I think it looks pretty crisp for an old show like that. I don't really see any signs of like super aging or anything. I don't really see any signs of artifacts really. Like there might be some, and it's also not really that fuzzy or anything just because of what it was. But like I'm wondering if they scanned this before they released it, because like it just looks really really good. And it's just funny to me to see that like, oh yeah, these previews before it that's showing like Spider-Man 90s or something look awful, but then when you go and play the 67 show, the 67 show looks really good.
See,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I remember seeing I remember when I was a kid seeing like um you know, they would syndicate that show and then they would do the Spider-Man and Friends.
Yeah.
Uh they would just show those randomly during the day. Um on places. I know Cartoon Network showed them at one point,
Mhm.
but it was crazy because I was like as a kid I was like this isn't Transformers. Um but you still got to enjoy it for what it was. Um that's pretty cool that you have that because I know if viewers that are listening should go back and listen to half of our physical media conversation. The other half we went off rails, but it's this is what we're talking about. This kind of thing is going to be gone.
I mean, it
I don't think,
already like is like it's not on anything. Disney wants to
yeah,
act like it doesn't exist. And it used to be on Netflix, I believe, like a long while ago. And like the only thing that Disney Plus has old enough is that Amazing Friends
yeah,
show and Spider-Woman. which is I think older. Like I think Spider Woman like came out like after this one, I would say. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just can't believe it because like this is where all the memes come from. Like Me and the Boys, like where it has like the pictures of like Green Goblin and Rhino and Electro, like they all look really stupid. Um, yeah, like this is where the all the memes come from. It's where the pointing memes comes from at the spoilers at the end of Spider-Verse, the first one. Um, yeah, there's just so many things from the show. And because the comics were not new, but like new enough,
Yeah.
this could have been like someone's first introduction. Because like I've been reading, I haven't lately, but I've been reading some of the comics thanks to Marvel Unlimited on my iPad, and for that, there's an episode on this show where he meets the lizard for the first time, and it's pretty close to how it happens in the comic. And so I think that's cool how like you're seeing like adaptations of that kind of stuff for the first time. um
Now, is the intro done by Stan Lee in these, or am I thinking of something else?
I don't think Stanley does anything in this. Yeah.
I could have sworn one of the shows they did like maybe it was Spider-Man and Friends. They do like an intro where it's like, "Hey, we find Spidey and da da da," and like what was the start of it or whatever. Uh, I could be wrong. I just that's like an older memory I had.
I mean, there might be something, but like I don't think it's like part of the show. If anything, it might be a special feature somewhere. But yeah, I've never heard of that. I mean, that's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's crazy to see that. I know at one point on DVD you could get the entire season of Transformers, like
Yeah,
all of the seasons,
yeah,
and
you still
I
can.
I see, yeah, I see it often, and I'm like, do I want to buy this? And I'm like, I almost feel like I should just for the fact of it's gonna be gone,
I don't
you know?
know. This is like the third run of it or something, because it has a different type of box. It has a cheaper box than the originals. So like, um, who does it? Shout Factory. Like Shout Factory knows to keep certain things around always. Like for example, Shout Factory doesn't have the Japanese Transformers box set anymore, and that thing's super expensive because like Japan had extra season that happened
Yeah,
after the movie and all that kind of stuff. But like we didn't see that at all here. So
yeah. I remember at one point I was in Walmart and they had that, and then they had the they had GI Joe, the complete season
yeah,
on DVD, and it wasn't really expensive. It was like 40-50 bucks. Um,
yeah.
like these are the things that actually, if you go to Hasbro.com, they stream GI Joe all the time
Same thing with
in order.
Transformers, yeah.
Yeah,
On YouTube
and you
and
could,
stuff.
yeah, which is crazy. Um, but yeah, that's super cool though. Uh, so my next item, I'm pretty sure we both have the same one, and hopefully you're not going to show it tonight. Uh, so I, for Christmas,
Oh no.
my parents always let me like pick out what I want, right? And this year, Alex is gonna laugh. So this year, instead of giving us like a very large gift of cash, my parents donated money to a small village in Africa, and they bought cows. Um, don't ask. I think it's great we're donating cows. So there's a cow out there with our name on it. But we also got a gift card, and my dad's like, "Where do you want the gift card for?" I said, "I want it for GameStop." And the reason is I know after the holidays, they always have like a big sale, right?
Mhm.
So I bought Black Myth, but then I also bought Metaphor on PS5. I have not put this into my console yet.
I barely
I
played mine.
will. I will. Um, at some point. Um, this one is it looks great. Everything I've seen on it looks great. Um, hopefully you're not showing this one tonight. Um, after if you go back to our holiday episodes, we did a Persona game, and because of that Persona game, uh, this is just up my alley now, and I'm excited to have this one in my collection and play it. Um, so I'm super excited to play it. I just don't know when I'm gonna get to it.
It's long.
Um, it's a long game, I know. Um, but I'll get to it at some point. But I wanted to get it because when I bought it, it was on sale.
Mhm.
So for this year, I paid 49.99 maybe, I think.
Hmm.
Which is crazy to me because it's still a pretty new game when they were doing that. So
Yeah.
uh, but I know when I bought that, I stocked up. They had a huge sale. I think they did like a pro day where you got extra points and stuff. That and Black Myth were on the same order. Um, there, but it the game looks great. Everything I've seen on it looks great. It's just finding that time to play it because it is such a long game. I mean, Persona, I mean, there would be Saturdays where I would play for like 3, 4 hours, but it was easier because it's on my PC.
Yeah.
So yeah. I know it's not exciting. Like I feel like yours are more exciting than mine.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Much more exciting. My last item is pretty cool though.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a lot of things. Honestly, that's send tweet like that. Yeah, I have a lot of things. Um, but and a lot of them just aren't in the proper places yet, so they're just all on the floor. So
That's a good problem to have. I know that I've got some packages coming, and Alex already knows of one of them. Um, it'll probably sit on my floor in a box for whenever I get time to go through it and see what it is. Um, so I'm there with you.
yeah.
You can't see my floor. It's clean now, but it varies.
Well, your room's also bigger than mine.
Yeah.
Um, because this also has a huge bed in it. Um, so this isn't one of the things, but I'm gonna show it anyway because I got it for pretty cheap. Um, one of the half price books that I go to, so I'm gonna have to go to it next time and look because I think they're still processing things. Um, I got this dot hack book for $5.
Oh wow.
This is the book that comes with um yeah, it's a manga, I guess. Um that comes with the collector's edition for um oh wow, yeah, I've never read this. Huh. It tells the IMOQ story. Oh, that's cool. I've never seen this before. It's always sat on my shelf over there. In fact, it's still over there. It's like a quick little manga or whatever. Um, but yeah, I guess it tells. I guess it makes sense. Begins. It tells IMOQ.
Mhm.
It tells some of the stuff of Roots, maybe Dot Hack Roots, which is the anime that takes place before GU, and so I got this for $5. This is normally comes with the collector edition that came out on Bandai Namco store. Um, that store had it came with the Switch version when the Switch version came out, and so it came with the soundtrack for GU, and then also came with this. And so I saw this, and because it doesn't have a UPC like a barcode at all, they kind of just gave it like a generic price sticker, and so there's like, oh, that's $5, and so I'm like, all right. So I bought it for $5, because like yeah, this is part of a collector's edition. So, I could always try to build another collector's edition out of this. Like
Yeah.
if I go back to that store and if they happen to have the CD, they didn't when I was looking, but it looks like they got this pretty recently, and so they might have still been processing like CDs and stuff. So it might be there next time, or it might not. But like I could make another collector's edition and either sell it or give it to someone. I could do something like that. Um, but that's not the real thing. The real thing is I got this as a gift just a random gift. A few days ago, maybe Saturday. I think they came from Whatnot, so there's that too. But I got the first 12 episodes, 14 episodes of Dot Hack Sign in Japanese DVD.
Oh wow.
So 2 of them are opened, and 3 of them are sealed still. So in this, it comes with Dot Hack Sign on DVD, and then it also has like this timeline thing. It looks, and then I haven't opened up the other one actually. Oh, this one has a timeline too, I guess, for the second disc. So like explains things, I guess, but in Japanese. But yeah, these are Japanese DVDs. I don't think they have English. It doesn't look like it. When they came out, they're originally 5,800 yen. So that roughly now 50, 45, 48. I don't know. I don't know how to calculate that anymore, because it used to be like roughly, it used to be, oh, 100 yen equals $1. So 5,800 yen would be $58. That's not how that is anymore. And it hasn't been for quite a while. So let's see. I actually just want to type it in Japanese. So let's flip it. Oops, flip it. Oh, okay, fine. Let's see, 5,800. Oh wow, that's cheaper. $38.71
I
per
think
volume.
I think they're not $38 now.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, but that's how much they were when they came out. They were, because anime used to be really expensive, and they used to always separate them. And
Yeah.
like even in our days of like old DVD volumes, like kids these days, they got it easy. They can just stream anything they want. They can just buy complete series anytime they want. We
For
had to go
for,
into
for
trenches.
so for someone that worked at Suncoast for many years, loved that job. Um, yeah, it was. They were not cheap. So we we sold some. I mean, obviously we sold like regular DVDs of stuff that came out, right? But what we sold a ton of was anime because you couldn't get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
We were the only store around that had it. And so like you may buy a disc with like 4 episodes for like $30.
Mm-hmm.
And box sets were like ungodly amounts of money. Um, but yeah, it was what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And you got that as a gift.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Um, well, my last item is super cool. So I my wife has her own like bookcases with like I don't know how many books my wife has. I have like 6 books total probably that I own. But I bought this because Limited Run had a sale. They were clearing out stock, and I really, really wanted it. Um, before I wanted it in hardback, but they didn't have any more of them. But they had this in the other one, but it is the NES Endings Compendium. This is volume 1, so 1985 to 1989. And so this is basically the ending of NES games. So like as you can see, uh, there's Zelda. There's like brief history on like those things. Super colorful, pages. Uh, like here's Doctor Chaos, which is a really difficult game down here. I'm holding the book up and I'm showing. So there's a couple volumes and it shows it's not every single game. Okay. But it's a lot of the games. Um, I mean, they've got To the Earth. They've got so many games. They even have Ultima in here, which was a difficult game to begin with. Track and Field. I wanted the hardbound book of this. I didn't get it, but this book was $11. Um, I just have to get the second one. But this is like a super, super cool book. Reading through so far, it talks about the game. If you grew up with NES, getting an ending on an NES game was difficult. A lot of times you'd run a game on Friday and you have to bring it back on Monday, right? So you didn't always get to finish the game because there was like Final Fantasy. You were not finishing that in a weekend. Um, gosh, you know why you don't see people stream the NES version of that? Because it's stupid hard. It's like Dragon Quest 1, 2, or 3. Not an easy game. But this was a super cool book that I got. Uh, it's got a lot of games in here. Um, you know, like even the ending for like games like Blades of Steel. Uh, Blaster Master has got a couple pages because that game was definitely not an easy one. But this is only the North American titles, so no Famicom games in here. Uh, but it is a super cool book, great art book, and it actually uses the it's screenshots from the endings. So uh, this thing is super super cool. Um, I'm loving to add it to my collection of 6 books. Do I have 6 books? Two. Oh, this makes number 6. Look at me. I'm moving up in the world. I own 6 books. Um, but yeah, this one was super cool. And I've read through most of it. It's pretty cool. They even had like the history of Sunsoft. They had like all these great books on limited run. As much as we kind of joke about limited run, they at least get some really cool books there. Um,
Oh, I was muted for some reason.
I was like, I couldn't hear you. I was gonna text you.
Yeah, yeah,
Go ahead.
no.
What were you saying?
Yeah, also Fan Gamer also has some pretty cool books there too. So,
Yeah, the only other thing I would love to get is some of the vinyl of like video game stuff. I know there's a really hard one to get that's Battletoads.
mm,
That's expensive now. It was like a $50 one, but now goes for up to 150.
oh wow.
Um, but there's the second volume of this. I almost bought it today because it's the same price still, and they still have it. The only problem is it's 11.99, but then I pay $12 shipping. So Amazon's got the same thing, so I might see what they got it for
Yeah.
because I hate paying $12 for shipping if I'm
Yeah.
not gonna buy a bunch of stuff. With this as well, though, I also bought 2 games with it. So they just had a weird clearance sale, and it was stuff that they had done that didn't sell very well. Why would you not buy this? Why would you not buy this book? So I don't know. I mean, I had some cool stuff. You had some really cool stuff. Uh, if you like these type of videos, like Alex said, we, we have a YouTube one we never posted. Um, as we get into the year, we'll get crazier, we'll get busier with interviews and stuff like that. We probably won't. Um, but let us know in the comments like which one was your favorite of our picks.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of pickup videos, and sometimes that's like, ooh, I really want that game, and I look that game up.
Yeah.
I think I watched Double Jump. I just bought one that was like on there.
Hmm.
So yeah, um, if you are definitely to support us, if you're watching this on YouTube, like that video, subscribe to us. That'd be great. If you're listening to us on Spotify, hit that follow button or Apple. That'd be great as well. Definitely trying to get our followers on Spotify up a little bit. Um, Another thing is we're now on Blue Sky. So we would love for you to come on Blue Sky and jump on there and see what we've got going on there as well. We've got some fun stuff planned this year with just different things we were doing. We've got a let's play that is out. It's not like a let's play, it's like a preview play, would you call it? Or
Yeah, probably.
yeah. So we downloaded the demo for the new Angry Video Game Nerd game 8-bit. I had a great time with it. Um, you know, it's coming out sometime this year,
Yeah.
but we play the demo and we talk about it as we play the demo. Also, we did a review on Sonic the Hedgehog, but we've got another movie review coming out soon. Not sure when that one's going to come out, but super excited for Alex to watch that one. He's probably going to hate me later. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Did you have anything to add to all that, Alex? Or
Um, not really a whole lot, just to get at it.
get at it.